Well, the downfall of Ubisoft has finally begun. Now, honestly, I'm not even over-exaggerating this because it does seem like Assassin's Creed Shadows is definitely making one of the most unexpected impact in the gaming history of Ubisoft. Now, I don't know how many of you guys are aware of what's going on, but it seems like Assassin's Creed Shadows has made an enormous impact on Ubisoft stocks, and it seems like the company is actually going completely broke. Ever since from July 18th, since Assassin's Creed Shadows was revealed, you can actually see the kind of drop that Ubisoft has taken from that very time. The stock prices have gone down so gradually from $22 all the way to $11.70. Yesterday, it was $11.60. It seems like the company is going absolutely broke. And although they are not talking about this openly, and not many YouTubers are covering about what's really going on down there, because I get it, most of them, they kind of just think if they talk something about this, they might get canceled. And they just want to pretend like, you know, everything is fine. Nothing's actually going bad. People are definitely buying Assassin's Creed Shadows. In that statement, it seems like it's not the case anymore. Actually, this is the very first time when fans are speaking with their wallets. And when I say speaking with their wallets, I actually mean it. Because not many of them are actually pre-ordering Assassin's Creed Shadows. Now, I don't think Ubisoft might have expected this to happen, but it seems like, you know, things are actually turning out way worse than what Ubisoft has expected. Because minus 38% of drop from just 6 months of the game being revealed, that's just insane. Honestly, I've never seen Ubisoft drop this hard in their entire time. Now, if you take all the way back to 5 years, you can actually see that back in 2020, and these were the times when Assassin's Creed Valhalla was released, and every time a new Assassin's Creed gets released, guess what Ubisoft expects? They always expect their stock prices to just skyrocket, but this time it seems like every single thing just backfired, and I think it's finally time Ubisoft might finally call it quits. All of the years as far as what Ubisoft has existed, I think this is the very first time they've fallen this low, and if this just keeps continuing, I think in another 6 months the company would absolutely just fall all the way to like $5. And if the stock prices are like $5, just imagine any companies out there, any industries like maybe Sony, Microsoft, or even Nintendo could end up buying Ubisoft for themselves. They could just buy the company off and rebrand it, or just continue it as Ubisoft and develop their own visions and ideas. And one of the biggest reasons why I think this is happening, and I just think that, you know, Ubisoft isn't really paying good attention, or maybe they're just doing it intentionally, but it actually seems like, you know, they're focusing more towards spreading non-binary stuff. Now, Ubisoft just posted this like a couple days ago, and it seems like they're opening their development at Ubisoft program, and now they're going to be giving more mentoring opportunities for women and non-binary individuals in the industry. And this seems to be like the very similar case as to what we've got with Warner Brothers, and we all know how that ended up. The company absolutely fell, and, you know, all their games flopped and nothing is good anymore with Warner Brothers. And now Ubisoft seems to be doing pretty much the same, and it seems like they're completely excluding men from Ubisoft. And I don't know how true that is, but as far as what this report comes from, they are just hiring students and graduates who have 2 years of experience, and they are specifically looking for non-binary genders. And I don't know why that is, but you can definitely see a lot of people are really upset about this, and they've been even commenting stuff like it's doing wonders for their stocks. It's just absolutely devastating to see such a good company that I've been really loving. I loved their previous games, like old school Assassin's Creed games, and most of the games that Ubisoft has created, I've always loved it. But at this point, we just cannot refuse to see what truly is happening. And it just seems like, you know, the company is falling down their knees, and with just another 6 months before even Assassin's Creed comes out, I think Ubisoft is going to fall to an all-time low that we've never ever seen before. And surprisingly, guess what? No YouTuber that covers Assassin's Creed or any of the Ubisoft content ever speaks about this. And the reason why is, number one, there are sold out shills. And most of the guys you've been watching for years that, you know, some people might even like to call them as the GOAT of Ubisoft content or GOAT of Assassin's Creed content, those guys, they would never talk about this. The reason why is because they're just fearing getting canceled. And I understand as a content creator, it does make a lot of difference. it does affect your career, because if you just get canceled, what are you going to do? You're just not going to be able to make content anymore, and that's going to be a bad spot to stick around in. So that's probably why they don't do it. But of course, at the same time, the issue has been so great this time that you just cannot refuse from looking at what's really happening. And although the entire Assassin's Creed community has been talking stuff like, you know, most of the people that are hating on Assassin's Creed Shadows, they're just like minorities, and, you know, people are still pre-ordering the game and whatnot. But if that's the case, the stock prices wouldn't fall that low. And the reason why it's falling that low is because people are finally giving up on Assassin's Creed, man. And that's really sad. Honestly, I'm a very, very huge fan of Assassin's Creed. I love Valhalla. And now to see that, you know, the game is falling apart and nobody's interested. And most of the Assassin's Creed content that I make on this channel, I always go to the comments and I just, you know, read through the comments. And most of the comments are just filled with people saying that they're not going to pre-order this game, or not even going to care to play or invest money into this game. And at first I thought it was all about, you know, people just talking shit, and eventually they'll end up buying or pre-ordering or playing it. But that seems to not be the case. People are finally speaking with their wallets, and I think if this just keeps continuing, Ubisoft is going to be forced in order to change their ways in terms of how they make video games. And if they don't want the company to completely go broke, I think it is finally time that they listen to fans on what they are actually looking forward to having in an Assassin's Creed game. And because they have so many Assassin's Creed games lined up, I think it's finally time that they actually follows what fans want. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but there's a coverage which comes from Game Radar, and this is the coverage that they've got for Assassin's Creed Shadows. And they've actually got so much information about like the new engine, gameplay mechanism, and all that stuff. And I already took a look at this video, and it seems like it has so much content. Like the game just literally has so much content, and the engine is upgraded to a performance level that I was really not expecting that Ubisoft was going to do something like this with the new engine. It looks like they put in a lot of effort in terms of how the gameplay is going to work. And just take a look at this. This is from Game Radar. A huge shout out to these guys for actually bringing us all of this
Assassin's Creed
information.
Shadows is about to take us to feudal Japan. And for one of the most anticipated settings in the series, Ubisoft Quebec is using new-gen tech to bring us into what art director Thierry Danzereau calls the most advanced visual Assassin's Creed game to date.
Look at the way you just slice through that thing, man. Like literally, that is exact, like perfect destruction. It's not even like your weapon object just touching it and the object just cuts randomly open, you know. It's not like that. It's definitely precision, and as your blade, you know, slices through, it cuts exactly on that line.
Ubisoft
Just take
Quebec
a look at that. Wow. That is some serious destruction mechanism we've got there. Look at that. He swings it down there, and then it cuts into like the complete down part is fully cut open. And then he does it again, and the entire thing cuts straight lined. You know, that's some very, very deep destruction mechanism, man. And it's not just done like, you know, most of the games that has like destructive mechanism, all you have to do is simply just your weapon touch that item, and then it's going to destroy in most random ways. So that's basically how they design most of the video games. But this one, it has a lot of precision. This means that each and every single individual object has like so many different vector 3D forms, which you can split into all the different formations or deform it however you want. And that takes a lot of work, trust me.
The most advanced visual Assassin's Creed game to date.
Wow.
The new tech will bring us a new weather system, changing seasons, enhanced lighting and shadows, and dynamic wind and spray.
So the most important thing that they focused here is like the dynamic weather system, and then you have like a wind, the nature system. They basically just focused all over with the nature, the physics, the destructions, and all that stuff. And we can definitely see, and Ubisoft wants to boast their, you know, stuff like saying we're gonna have like the most dynamic wind system, which is gonna like blow the shit out of the entire towns. That, you know, rooftops of the huge tall buildings and towers is gonna be completely blown off if we have like a huge storm coming down to that town. So that's basically how it works. It's going to be very, very intense, you know, weather system that's going to work in this game, apparently.
Which can show up to 10,000 particles on screen that move with the wind flow. This time
10,000 particles on the screen at a time when wind blows. That's some next-gen technology, honestly.
This time around was difficult because we knew it was a highly anticipated setting, and we knew that the expectations were very high, Dansero says. And so we pushed ourselves and said, okay, let's do something very ambitious. So we...
That's what Ubisoft was talking about, you know, like this game being like their most ambitious Assassin's Creed games of all time. Now I see what the ambition is all about. But then, I don't know, man, like people don't want to give this a shot because they just think that, you know, Ubisoft went woke, so we're not going to support it. But in terms of gameplay perspective, I think they've done some lot of work into this game. They put in a lot of work, and we can definitely see that it's a massive improvement from the previous Assassin's Creed games. I don't think any Assassin's Creed games has ever had this kind of a mechanism, and they've definitely upgraded their engines. They wanted to go full in with this game eventually.
Because they're working end to end with us, making sure that we have the support we need. The weather and changing seasons are some of the biggest changes introduced to the Anvil engine, with conditions brought on by the weather feeding into missions and giving us more ways to navigate through areas.
You see, the weather system, that's going to make a lot of difference in terms of how you play your missions. The way you decide to take your missions in terms of stealth, action, whatever you choose. Like, it's going to definitely differ each player's experience because the weather is dynamic. It's not going to be like a preset or something like that. It's completely dynamic. You can play the same mission in like a sunny weather. Some other person might play it in like a rainy weather. One might play it in like a snowfall environment. So all of those experiences definitely going to be different. It's kind of like Red Dead Redemption. Even that game had like a dynamic weather system, and every player had it different. And that's exactly what's going on here.
Every season will have 2 steps, like early and late spring. And after a certain amount of time, when you fast travel or load, the next logical step will be loaded in.
Okay. So it seems like in-game hours is going to be counted in terms of how the weather keeps transitioning. So let's say if you're fast traveling from one location to another, it's going to like calculate based on how long it would take if you start running from one place to another. And it's going to change the weather based on the amount of time it takes. It's just going to, you know, automate that time, and it's going to change the weather accordingly, even if you fast travel. If you're like deciding to fast travel from location A to location B, and the location B is very far away, and if you're walking all the way from A to B, if it's going to take a lot of time, where the cycle of the game is going to change from day to night cycle by the time you reach from point A to point B, if you're actually playing and not fast traveling, that is exactly how the game is going to decide, even if you fast travel. The time, the weather, everything is going to change even if you fast travel. That's what they're saying here.
Sounds impressive.
That's good.
Will you be picking up Assassin's Creed Shadows?
It would seem like even if you fast travel, the world is still living on. So it's not like the world is stuck. It doesn't make you feel like you're the only important character in the world. Like, it just keeps going even if you don't play.
Let us know in the comments,
like a
and follow Games Radar for the
world.
latest news, previews and reviews.
Actually got some pretty good stuff there. It seems like there is a lot of improvements when it comes to Assassin's Creed Shadows and the engine and everything that Ubisoft has worked on. People, like I said, they're not really interested in order to give this game a chance. And it definitely is visible in terms of how the Ubisoft stocks are going down. Let me know in the comments, man. I really want to know. Are you guys buying Assassin's Creed Shadows, or are you one of those guys who are like speaking with your wallet? You're not going to support this company anymore with whatever you guys didn't like about Assassin's Creed Shadows? Let me know in the comments. I would love to, you know, read your comments, reply to as many of you guys as I possibly can, because these topics, it's very interesting to go ahead and interact and know all of your decisions. And, you know, and maybe, you know, Ubisoft might watch these videos and comments, and they might be like, well, we understand what fans want. We understand why fans are not buying it. If you could, you know, leave a comment, it would really make a lot of difference. So yeah, with that being said, if you guys did enjoy this video, just please take a few seconds of your valuable time, drop a like on this video. It really goes a long way for me as a creator. It helps out the channel, helps out the videos a lot. With that being said, if you guys want to stay updated with all the latest and the greatest content for all the news, updates, gameplays, reveals, all the leaks, and basically all the stuff that you guys need about upcoming open world games is going to be available first on my channel. So make sure to subscribe. It's absolutely free. Turn the notifications on, and I will see you guys on tomorrow's video. Until then, take it easy, fams, and goodbye.